Hello, my name is Kuban. I am coming from Poland, and my presentation will be a little bit different because I don't want to teach you or show you something. I would like to ask you for something. So you can consider my presentation as a 20 minutes question. And I would like to help me, and because of this you are handed the sheet of paper and you will write the answer, okay? So we start with my presentation, how liberty and entrepreneurship can be taught at home, at schools. So what I intend to talk about. I would like to consider didactical methods oriented for educating good citizens. Responsible, efficient in achieving goals, innovative, open-minded, savants, respecting others, creative, being aware of how society works, I mean non-vulnerable to socialism, knowing their own and other people's place in society. I would like to initiate a brainstorm to exchange our best ideas. So, the very famous film producers, George Lucas, he said that he was very much influenced by the cartoon hero Scrooge McDuck. And what he saw in this little duck, Lucas was fascinated by Scrooge's inventiveness. Hard work pays off, it's okay, but so does cleverness and the desire to do something in a way that no one else has done before. And he mentions Scrooge's ethics, honor, honesty, allowing other people to believe in their own ideas, not trying to force everyone to conform. And Lucas found Scrooge McDuck very exciting and inspiring. So you can see the influence of a cartoon hero to one man who created the most famous film in the world. So under communism, I can say that I was influenced also by a cartoon. So Polish model under communism, Titus, Romek, and Atomek. You can distinguish Atomek, it came from the name Atom, so he was very savant. Romek with the white hair is an ordinary schoolboy. Atom is an extraordinary schoolboy. He seems to know everything. Titus is a chimpanzee being taught how to become human. A lot of adventures in time and space. A lot of smart decisions by Atom. The monkey symbolized a child undergoing the process of education. You can see how they innovative were. They took a bath, they took a vacuum cleaner and a shower, and they had constructed a spaceship. So we were really influenced by them. Everybody loved this cartoon and tried to copy Atom. His inventiveness, knowledge, being just, responsibility, and caring. So does ancient Greek mythology. So you can know that Greek were sometime a couple thousand years ago, they were quite a big empire, and they were educated by mythology. So Heracles was the hero and innovative problem solver. He also represents a person who was state versus individual model. He was repressed by the state. Theseus is a team leader and team builder. And when I was in 1990s in Switzerland, I discussed the problem of education. And I was told that in Switzerland, on Wednesdays, there is a cook education. I said, it's completely stupid. Why you teach your children how to cook, how to prepare the meal? And the Swiss said, it's very sophisticated method of education. First, 14-year adolescents have cooking lessons every Wednesday. They should plan their whole dinner. They should buy their own ingredients with a limited budget. They should cook the dinner and learn the theory of cooking and nutrition. They should take the meal home. They should serve the dinner to the members of their family. Food decoration, table arrangement, sequence of serving. So you can see that if we just teach a small thing, we can teach a lot of things. So I was convinced that it serves to something. Well, for me it was completely useless, but after talking with the Swiss, I said, okay, it's very, very sophisticated didactical methods. And the Brits, they also had home, in this period of time, their economic lessons, cooking, sewing. However, they are not taught how to spend money. During the communists, we were not taught neither how to spend the money, how to deal with the money. And what is the situation nowadays? Schools are focusing more on courses that prepare one for university rather than the life skills. Schools kill creativity. Public education puts relentless pressure on its students to conform. And this is completely not what we want to achieve, we as libertarians. So, when I was 10 years old, I moved to the USSR, and here I would like to present you some situation which I memorized. It was a very short situation, but I memorized it till present. So it was a lesson about how the future will be in the USSR. And we were taught about the essence of communism. Teacher quoted Marx, from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. And 10-year schoolboy asked, do you mean that I will work as much as I want and I will take as much as I want to? Well, she said, you're right, it will be like this. So this is a dream of all communists, the big promise. And this little boy said, dear teacher, it will never work because I will not want to work at all and I will want to have everything. So it's a very simple wow model. It rests in our minds. After this, after his answer, it was a long silence because teacher, she didn't know what to say. Hopefully, it was 17 years after Stalin's death, because during Stalin, she will be killed and parents of this schoolboy as well, and he will be probably imprisoned. So, we have two didactic methods which appear by showing good examples and by showing contradictions, inconsistencies, and discrepancies. So, what does it mean? I would say that if you show the discrepancies, the people memorize it better. The discrepancies, the errors. So we have either we show positive, either negative. And we have two ways of doing this. By constant delivery of similar messages. So by cartoons, by media, by parental and peer influence, by church. Or by the wow effect. Wiring child's brain by using a quick, permanent, memorable and obvious message. Quoted basic communist principle slogan, so if you quote this, what my colleague said, it will never work because I want everything, I don't want to work at all. Everybody will memorize very quickly. So, for example, the fairy tale about 3 little pigs, okay? You just read for 5 minutes and children memorize it. And okay, hard work pays off. I have to construct a good home from the stone because I will be protected from the wolf. And, for example, Jonathan Gulliver, which is full of such examples. So, now, we have two methods. Constant delivery of knowledge or the wow effect. So we just wire with a single effect and the child is memorizing this. And as I said, now I have a problem. So we have only 2 hours in Polish schools and we will teach teenagers. And what do we want to teach them? We want to teach them the principles of libertarianism. So my question is how to do this in the best way. What should we tell them and how should we tell them? So what kind of messages should we deliver to this adolescent and how can we make them permanent fixtures in only 2 hours? Remember that socialist ideology is simple and efficient. They say you deserve. you are worthy of this. We will take from others and we'll give you because you are worthy, you deserve, you are poor, and so on. But before you will write down your answers for my question, remember that after 2 weeks we tend to remember only 10% of what we read, 20% of what we heard, 50% of what we see and heard, and 70% of what we say. And so we say, okay? So now I give you 3 minutes to write in this small paper what should we teach in 2 hours? What is your proposals, okay? And later I will collect it and maybe we will deliver the very good program. Okay.
Could you read us instructions?
Sorry? Instructions. So I would like that you write, figure out that you are a teacher and you have only 2 hours before the teenagers. So what will you say, okay? About, for example, the comparative advantage, about, I don't know, liberty, for example. Will you show him the movie about the liberty principles, and so on? Maybe you have such ideas in your mind. Please write it down, and I will collect and, yeah.
Easier for you to like figure.
Okay.
It has a light, so you can.
Okay. Jacek, come on. Answer my question, please. No, it's not excuse. Yes?
Point of order. Robin Hood was a tax rebel. He never stole from the rich. He took away from the government illegally.
Okay.
And gave it back. Use that image the correct way.
Okay, it's 50 seconds left.
Example was the Hunger Games. A lot of teenagers read those stories and they are very libertarian. Read the books because they are much more thoughtful than the movies.
Okay, so I will continue now. I will present my proposals, what I think should be taught in schools in 2 hours. So the first, it's a nature of an honest man. The second is natural pressure for social exploitation. And the third one is Calhoun's experiment. Probably you don't know what I mean, but I will explain. So if I show this slide and I am asking who got the salary increase, A or B? Raise your hand. This one? Yes, so pretty much all over the world we know that salary increase got this guy. He's very satisfied. So the main feature of human beings, I think, should be introduced to the adolescents. So we want more for less. So this is our basic feature. The way we choose products in shop. Is this statement correct? I will work as much as I want and I will take as much as I want. So these are proposals which are proving that we want more for less. What happens? So we can, after introducing this main feature, we can talk about what happens if two people want the same thing, but there is only one. It's an introduction to the game theory. What happens if I want what you have, and you want what I have? It's an introduction to the free exchange and comparative advantages. We can continue as well with prisoner's dilemma and iterated prisoner's dilemma. The second important topic I would like to introduce to the students, it's a natural pressure for social exploitation. The essence of this natural law is expressed in the shortest way by Frédéric Bastiat. So I will now try read it as I am Frédéric Bastiat, okay? If a move will result in the loss of 1 franc for each of the 1,000 of people and gain 1,000 francs by one person, the latter consumes a lot of energy, while the former would rather put a little resistance. It is therefore likely that person who makes the effort gaining 1,000 francs will gain them successfully. It's a very complicated sentence, but I will explain it in the very first model. So let's imagine that we have an ideal community. There is a group of 100 people and all work cooperatively. And the first one, baker make bread for 1,000, butcher make meat for 1,000, and the builder make bridge for 1,000. They gather the goods and they spread. So everyone receives the goods for 100. It's ideal community. And now I will introduce a very sophisticated, so you can imagine this community and everybody thinks, okay, it will work. But it happens, if you ask Venezuelans, it happens that it don't work at all. If you ask some Polish guys, they will say it don't work at all. Kibbutz, it was the simplest form on a small socialism. It didn't work neither. Okay, so you can read about the kibbutz and why they failed. And now, if we analyze this system, let's analyze when one is doing nothing, he is ill or lazy. It doesn't matter. He produces nothing. So the commune is, instead of making for 10,000, produces the goods for 9,900. And after division, let's see that the individual income of negative disturbance provider, so the guy who did nothing, he received 99. So it was his personal income. And everybody others just lose only 1. So it explains the words of Frédéric Bastiat. You can do everything to gain this 99 profit, and the people will even not see that they lost something, because they lose only 1. In a case B, imagine that there is a guy who wants to devote to the community, and he wants to work twice as harder as others. And look, so everybody gets individual income of others is only +1, and individual income of positive disturbance provider is -99. So he produced for 200 and he received 101. So this is a little model which clarify the words of Bastiat. The third thing, very important, I think, in instructing the young people, it's a John Calhoun's experiment. A social experiment involving mice, which should have the same impact on humanity as the apple falling on Newton's head. Unfortunately, this has not happened due to unknown factors or probably due to politics. This experiment is not shown and not taught because it's very dangerous, I would say. So, what was the experiment? 8 mice were given perfect living conditions with everything they needed. So it was, let's say, communist condition. They have everything. The population rose, fell, and became extinct within 4 years. This experiment was repeated several times using mice and rats, and the results were the same. Due to the lack of challenges, extinction was inevitable. So I would like to show in this small chart very quickly. So the normal mice were introduced here, and their behavior were normal. They gave birth to they proliferated, and the population doubled. And in a given time, the population, so in this period of time, the population doubled every 60 days. From this point to this point, population doubled only in 130 days. And after, the population went down, and it is the point of extinction. What happened? There were no challenges, so the mice started to change their behavior. We already talked during our breakfast or dinner about the behavior of Colombian males. They take care of themselves, how they look. So did the mice. And they changed their behavior, and at least in the final stage of here, the male take care only about drinking, eating, and cleaning the fur. They don't even make the sex. They were not interested even to survive. So because of this, it's very interesting and very, I think, so my message is we have to teach youngsters about this experiment. Probably they will forget about socialism. So thank you for fruitful commitment, for writing me the answers, and what we failed to do at the very beginning, we will fail at the. We will not fail at the very end.
Do you know what the purpose of life is? Do you know the 12 undeniable truths that will help you understand life? Does life contradict the second law of thermodynamics? Do you know that evolution is both competitive and cooperative? Do you know the 5 main features of biological evolution? Do you know the trigger for evolution? These are just some of the questions that you need an answer for, and you can find them here with many others. The 59 Keys for Understanding the Beginning of Life. The Physics of Life, a significant step forward in life sciences.
Yeah.
Do we know the 59 secrets?
I would like to make such an advertisement which lasts 3 minutes and present to the teenagers and wire their brains to be libertarians. So this is my deep concern how to do this. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, don't go away. Question? Okay, Maria.
I was more intrigued about your book, The 59 Keys.
Just memorize 59 keys for understanding the beginning of life, and you will find it.
And I have another question, and that is, how do we make teenagers more active and more interested in learning? Because when you go to schools nowadays, and when I was in school, most of my classmates were not interested at all.
This is a problem. This is a problem, and this problem is shown very well in Calhoun's experiment. The present-day population of youngsters which live in the perfect conditions, in the good conditions, because I think that the conditions in Colombia, in Poland, are very good, became, lazy. This is a problem of being wealthy. Okay, so if you have too much, you became lazy, and you don't want to even to fight for anything. So I think in the long term, the situation we have in Venezuela, the situation we have in Nigeria, they are good for the society, the whole society of Earth. Because Venezuelans are very active nowadays. They will be very entrepreneurial as we, the Poles, you know. So I was entrepreneur, I was very active. You know, the people met me in France, in the United States. They said, how you are doing, you are so motivated, we are not so motivated as you are. But now the present generation of Poles, they became lazy. They are not so entrepreneurial as I am.
But what you're saying is that then we need crises like the one in Venezuela to make people more, because I don't want that message to be sent.
So you know,
that we need
I
crisis
think that the best solution, and I think that Lee will agree with me, is to be educated in a very tough situation, in a socialist situation, and start your real adult life in a capitalist libertarian country. So it was my case. It was the case of Lee, you know. We were educated in a real bullshit, in a matrix of lies, and you know, and we started to think. You know, when I came to the Soviet Union, they said, we are the leader of economy, the world's leader of economy. And I came from Poland, and I said, but our shops in Poland are, the supply is far bigger than in the USSR, so there is something which is not going on here. Probably they don't understand, or maybe, and finally I understood, they lie, they simply lie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, 3 weeks from now, I'm going to be sitting with my guy in an ayahuasca ceremony, and that guy does not think of himself as a capitalist. You know, he thinks of capitalists as GM or Ford, but he doesn't think of himself as one, even though he's charging me $225 for the ceremony, and you know, is probably, I don't know if he's even reporting this stuff, but what do we do with these people who are in business, these people who don't think of capitalism as this small business owner, but only think of capitalists as these big Fortune 500 corporations? How do we show them that small business owners are capitalists too?
Okay, so for me, example is very simple. I just talk about Swiss political system where, it became a little bit corrupted, but the principle of subsidiarity is very, very deep, and principle of federalism. What does it mean, principle of subsidiarity? We have to help others, but only when they really need to be helped. Okay, so this principle should be also taught. I think we are out of time.
Okay, thank you. Do you have questions, and I wish I would finish?
I was impressed with the thing that pyramid that shows that the kinds of things that have to happen in order for you to get a greater percentage of memory.
Yeah, so I would like to say that if you want to propose that everybody will read your book, it's better to make a play. They will memorize better, but if you make them play this play, they will memorize far better, okay? So we have to force students to be active, to participate in what we are teaching them. Yeah, one of didactical methods. Thank you very much. We are out of time.